let's go on. So another trailer that just came to light today was an extended trailer, and it's actually coming out. Speaking of August, it's actually coming out in August, and that's Blue Beetle. And Blue Beetle, when I first saw it, the very first trailer, I went, okay, it looks okay, nothing great. Um, I like it, but it's not great. It looks like another Venom. If I'm being absolutely honest, um, so I went okay. So we got an extended look at this trailer today, and wow, I'm impressed. I mean, you've got America Fiera in it, George Lopez. So this is one of the few. I mean, there should be more out there, but this is a Latino superhero. So this actually comes from Scott Mendelson, and so he's actually at CinemaCon right now. And so this is actually centered, as I said, around a Latino superhero, and it's going to be debuting August 18th. Since Warner Brothers Discovery has already dropped the first trailer right in time for the Super Mario movie, it's no surprise that Blue Beetle didn't get that much more footage beyond a longer version of the existing trailer. Of course, the trailer makes the case pretty well, and the next trailer that gets played will be most screenings of The Flash, which we'll get to in a couple minutes, Barbie, and The Meg 2, alongside rival kid flicks like The Haunted Mansion and TMT Mutant Mayhem prior to its August 18th theatrical debut. We get an extended version of the trailer, and once again, guys, I will put the link in the description so you can watch it as well. With Jamie Reyes stumbling upon a mystic scrap that turns him into the title hero. It was the same trailer saved for an extra final gag involving a senior citizen and a Gatling gun. This will be the first DC Marvel superhero flick centered around a Latino hero, which frankly makes one wish it came out a decade ago because superhero films were on the defensive. That Marvel waited until the end of the Infinity Saga to release films like Black Panther and Captain Marvel is, fair or not, an unfortunate circumstance. That we somehow went 10 years in the DC film franchise without getting a Jon Stewart starring Green Lantern film would be comic, sends broader cultural context. The superhero movie had room for Blade and the Mask of Zorro, which was a less dependent tentpole subgenre, and yet the last 15 years have been dominated by white guys named Chris. Of course, Chris Evans, Chris Pine, Chris Helmsworth. Only now, with the superhero movies comparatively on the ropes, are we seeing an all-in investment with inclusive superheroes. Now, the notion of a comic book superhero, even one from Marvel or DC, is no longer an automatic event. Films based around a lesser known and, in many cases, women or minorities are tasked with holding up the entire subgenre from which they are mostly excluded from a generation. And how Manuel Soto directed and Gunther Dudek pen flick is the fourth of Warner Brothers Discovery flicks, along House Party, Mike's Magical Dance, and Evil Dead Rise that just released this last week. That was an initial intended for HBO Max before getting bumped up to a theatrical release. Okay, so let's talk about this real quick. I liked the trailer. I think it's one of those things that it looked fun. I think it looked fun. I think it looked like it was a blast. And I think that once we see it, we're really going to start to enjoy it more and more. That being said, Scott is right about one thing. And that's now we're starting to get, excuse me, we're starting to get these pictures like a Black Panther, like a Captain Marvel. And you have to understand, okay, Ike Perlmutter, okay, was a big, big proponent of why we didn't get them. He didn't like that. He was very old fashioned. Okay. He didn't think that any women should be superheroes. He didn't think any minorities should be superheroes. Ironically, those two films ended up doing $1 billion. Okay. That all being said, I think the fact that now we're starting to see that and we're starting to see this is really big stuff. I like the trailer. I'm not too familiar with the lore of Blue Beetle. I only know of it what I'm seeing. Okay, but from what I saw, I liked it, and I'm gonna go see this, and I'll do a spoiler cast on this more than likely, and it looks like a good time. George Lopez was hilarious in the little snippet we saw him in, so it's one of those things where I think this is going to do well. Now, it's not going to break the bank, okay, but I do believe it's going to do well for what it was intended, and yeah, I like I said, I really liked it, and I got to see more. I want to see more. I think once we see the final trailer, and by the way, the one person I was shocked to see in there, and correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, was that Susan Sarandon? So now we're starting to see, Susan Sarandon, George Lopez. So we're starting to see this whole dynamic of these stars going over to DC. I think that's really cool. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I think she might be playing the villain, but yeah, it looks like a really good time and should be fun. And it's coming out. This is a safe release date too, because the thing is that this isn't jumbled in July. Okay. If this was the end of July, I'd be a little worried. This isn't late mid August, early to mid August. So this is going to be fine. All of those other movies, like Barbie, like Oppenheimer, like Mission Impossible, are going to run out of steam by then. So this is going to be, clean in whatever it does. So I think it's going to be fantastic. Guys, what do you think about Blue Beetle? Do you know of the comic lore? Did you like the first trailer? Did you like the final trailer? Are you excited for the film? Are you going to go see this? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments and I'll get back to everybody.